Hello and welcome to the Car Diaries and a not so tropical Scotland. It's blowing a gale here, the rain is starting to come down, but as you can see behind me we have a bright yellow Aston Martin Vantage, the new Vantage featuring that new 4-litre twin turbo V8. And as some of you will see, we're in the same location as we filmed the Porsche 992, one of the main rivals to this car. So we thought we'd take it on the same roads and find how the Vantage compares. So the new Aston Martin Vantage features that AMG block, albeit it's been tuned by Aston Martin. Having driven both cars, I can assure you that this drives very differently to the AMG GTS. It pops, bangs, burbles, and is very much an Aston Martin. So I'm going to walk you around this particular car before we get behind the wheel and find out how this compares with the 992 Carrera 4S. So this particular car, as you can see, is finished in bright yellow. It's actually a metallic yellow, a colour not normally associated with Aston Martin, but works very well on the new Vantage. We've then got the dark textured wheels with the yellow brake calipers. It's steel brakes on the new Vantage as opposed to ceramics, albeit ceramics will be coming shortly. I've actually driven a car with ceramics on track and they're really good, but Aston Martin's still working on the compound for them. So as we come round, you'll see we've got the full gloss black exterior body pack on this car, which compromises the front splitter, side skirts and also rear bumper section. But the owner of the car has also specified the gloss black roof, mirror caps, and then the dark textured side gills there as well, which are actually perforated. You'll also see we have the machined Aston Martin wings badge as opposed to the traditional enamelled badge. I think on this colour combo it works really well. And I'll mention just now, for anyone that is falling in love with this beast, it's actually available for sale at the Auto Lounge, so please head over to their Facebook page. Their website is going to be up and running very shortly, but yeah, head over to their Facebook page. It's on Auto Trader and Piston Heads. Get in touch with the guys at the Auto Lounge and they'd be delighted to talk you through the car and organise a viewing and a drive. So with a little bit of YouTube magic, we've now flipped the car around, and as you can see, the rear end of the car is very different to the traditional Aston Martin product. So we've now got this really aggressive rear diffuser, which has also been done in yellow, which really helps it stand out, and I think it looks absolutely mega on the car. We've also got the quad pipes on this car, or what some people are referring to as the sports exhaust system. Having driven cars with both twin and quad pipes, I can assure you that the quad pipes definitely add to the soundtrack of that glorious 4-litre twin turbo V8. It only helps enhance the pops and bangs, especially when you're in the track mode on the car, which we'll experience in a few moments. As you also see, we've got the LED light technology on the rear of the car. This centre section here is illuminated when you have your foot on the brake as well, so you've got that full piece rear light, which looks really nice. And I know there's a number of manufacturers doing that. Obviously Porsche have done that with the 4S product throughout the years sort of thing, but I really like it on the Aston, and I think it works beautifully. So as we step inside, being an Aston Martin, as you'd expect, the interior is sumptuous. We've got a beautiful Caithness leather interior in here, which is really nicely done. So it's a company in Scotland actually that do all the hides for the interiors in Aston Martins. Very sporty interior, so this has the Sport Plus pack as they call it, which gives you the more bucketed seats in the car, and it also gives you the flat bottom steering wheel, so you feel like you're in a proper sports car. As you'll see, it's been done with a contrasting yellow stripe and some yellow touches on the doors and things as well, so very tastefully done and complements the exterior of the car beautifully. So welcome ladies and gentlemen to the rather sumptuous interior of the new Aston Martin Vantage. It's a car I know very well, as the long-time subscribers will know. I previously worked for Aston Martin Edinburgh for about 2.5 years. So through my time there I experienced a lot of the new Aston product, including of course this new Vantage. So I first drove the car out in the north of Spain when they had the press launch out there, which was absolutely unbelievable, through the Spanish mountains. Well, here we find ourselves in a rather wet Scotland today, but nevertheless it's beautiful to be behind the wheel of this car again. So the new Vantage, for those of you that don't know, is somewhat different to the outgoing Aston Martin Vantage. So the outgoing Vantage, of course, had the naturally aspirated V8 and V12 units. Initially the 4.3 litre V8, then they upgraded to the 4.7 V8 in around about 2012, and then they moved on to the V12s as well, so that fantastic 6 litre V12 engine. Now this car is actually quicker than the outgoing V12 Vantage S, and that's down to the engine. So it's the 4 litre twin-turbocharged V8 AMG unit that's found in the car. However, Aston engineers have worked their magic, and albeit it's got a slightly lower horsepower figure than the Merc, it's got a higher torque figure, and torque is what really propels the car. So you're talking 685 newton meters of torque from 2000 RPM, which means in real world terms, pretty much wherever you are in the rev range, this car has some serious poke. So let's find out what that's all about. At the moment we're in standard sport mode. So Vantage slightly different to DB11 and DBS because it's the sports car of the range. Instead of having a GT, Sport and Sport Plus, this is Sport, Sport Plus and then track mode. Now track mode, albeit you think you can only use that in the track, is more than suitable on the road as well. So we're going to bang it up into track mode just now. Get on these absolutely stunning big aluminium paddle shifters and get some power down. So as you'll hopefully be able to hear, the car has lots of character. It sounds absolutely tremendous. It's not particularly slow either. So the car does 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, and it can go on to a top speed of 195 miles per hour if you wanted it to. So it's very quick. But the thing I love about the Vantage is, albeit it's single glazed glass as opposed to the double glazed glass that you find in DB11 and DBS, it's still quite quiet in the cabin in here when you're in standard sport mode. So it's actually a very usable car, and that is why Aston believe it's a direct competitor to the Porsche 911, which I must say I think it is. Now there's certain things the Porsche does very well that the Aston probably can't compete with. However, there's also things that the Aston does very well that the Porsche can't compete with. One of the main things, of course, is this, let's not forget, is an Aston. It's quintessentially British, it's synonymous with James Bond, and every time you've got that Aston Martin badge in front of you, whether you're behind the wheel or whether you're looking at the car, you know, out of your window, sitting in the driveway, is going to put a smile on your face. It's an Aston Martin, it puts a smile on the face of everyone here in Britain. As soon as you drive by anyone, you're always getting a thumbs up and a smile, particularly when you're in such a bright colour as this. So what I'm going to do whilst we're on this nice little country road is, whilst we're in the track mode for the powertrain, we can independently control the suspension here as well. So you've got 3 suspension modes, again, Sport, Sport Plus and Track, and what that does is effectively changes the oil flow in the dampers, which means you can be a lot flatter on the twisties. So I'm going to bump up into Sport Plus. As I say, I've driven the Vantage a lot, so I know that track mode I would say is too stiff for most UK roads, whereas Sport is pretty much bang on. But you can see how quickly this thing takes off, and hopefully the audio is picking up those pops and bangs of the exhaust system, which definitely put a smile on your face. And Aston's before this never really done that. They never really popped and banged and burbled the way this car does. Some people will say, oh, it's, you know, it's a bit fake, and I love it. It puts a smile on my face. I love pops and bangs, particularly when it's from a V8 engine as well. Because obviously a lot of the little hot hatches do that now, but that's 4-cylinder engines. When you've got a big meaty V8 doing that, it really adds to the experience. So gearbox wise, this car features the ZF 8-speed auto, which I think it's an absolutely mega gearbox. I've mentioned that in other videos. We've driven a few cars with that gearbox and it's really, really, really good. So it's got a torque converter, so it's fully automatic. And yeah, when you get on the paddles, as you can see there, it's not quite as quick and down the gears and up the gears as a PDK, but it's not far off, to be honest with you. And I would argue it's probably smoother than the PDK, and a few of my mates out there that have got Porsches keep saying, no it's not, Craig, no it's not. I think it is, but each to their own. But yeah, it's a really, really competent box, and particularly when you're cruising around town and things like that as well, it just makes for a nice, easy driving experience. It's not a difficult car to drive, and that's been said, you know, on a greasy road like today, it's still not a difficult car to drive, albeit it's got all that power going through those rear wheels. The car does a really good job of putting it down. The traction control system in the car is very, very good as well. Traction control systems have obviously come on so much over the past sort of 10 years that, yeah, if you switch it off, it soon shows you that you're not as good a driver as you think you are. But as long as it's on, it'll let the car slide around a little bit and dance around, but it won't really let you get it out of shape too much, which is quite nice. You don't want that when you're driving a 140 grand Aston, which is what this particular car is. In fact, this spec was £150,000, so around £30,000 worth of options. They start at 121, but let's face it, very few people out there will actually have a base car of that. As you're on the road charges and things, you're £124,000, so you know you're never going to be in the 120s. It's always going to be 130 plus. But yeah, still a lot of car for the money. So coming up to some little corners here, and the car handles far better than Astons of the past, and the reason for that is the 4-litre twin turbo V8. The turbochargers are in the shape of what they call a hot V, so they actually sit right on top of the engine, which means weight distribution wise, that little 4-litre, and I'm saying little because when you see it under the bonnet, it is actually quite a small unit. It's very compact, particularly in comparison with Aston's 6-litre V12 that you found in the V12S. So yeah, it's a very compact unit, which means it's lighter, it can sit further back, more in towards the sort of cockpit of the car, and yeah, it just means the car on the twisties feels a lot more dynamic and handles a lot better than, for example, the V12 Vantage S. You can really throw it into corners, and the front end doesn't feel too heavy, which is really nice. It just feels very, very well balanced. So as we're sort of coming in towards the town area, now is probably a good time to talk about how the car manages and copes in busy sort of situations. Now again, I've experienced the car sitting busy traffic and things like that. It's got all the latest technology, such as start, stop, so cut out when you're in traffic. You can obviously switch that off if you don't like that. It's also got what they call cylinder cut technology, which ultimately helps improve fuel efficiency. Now, I know you don't buy an Aston Martin for fuel economy, but if you can get some decent fuel economy and a great sounding car and a great fun car, then fantastic. So yeah, it's got what they call cylinder cut technology, and what that actually does is essentially, if you're just cruising along, the car will cut down to 4 cylinders, and every 30 seconds it switches between your left and right hand cylinder banks, keeping your catalytic converter at the right running temperature, so if you do put your foot down, everything's right and ready to go. Audibly, you will not hear a difference. You don't hear the cylinders switching off or anything like that. It still sounds like a V8 engine. But what it does mean is if you're doing a long distance journey in the car, for example anything more than 40 or 50 miles, I would expect you to get into the 30 miles per gallon in terms of fuel efficiency, which for a 4-litre twin turbo V8 is pretty damn good. My Golf will struggle to do that a lot of the time, and that's a little 2-litre turbo. So yeah, it's very, very impressive. And yeah, again, moving forward with the times, it just shows you the sort of innovation and things that Aston Martin are working on moving forward. I think the next 5 years for Aston Martin are going to be very, very exciting. So I would advise all you car fans out there to keep a close eye on Aston Martin brand over the next 5 years, because I think it's definitely going places. So yeah, as an all-rounder, I think the Aston's a really, really good car. For any of you 911 fans out there, as you know, I raved about the 992 and I still think it's a mega, mega car. The 992 sounds good, but this thing sounds awesome. So yeah, get out and drive them. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully I went into a lot of detail. As I say, it's a car I know very, very well. Indeed, so if anyone's got any questions, please comment down below. Make sure to subscribe to the Car Diaries on all of our social media platforms. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. And I think we're going to be welcoming another Italian back to the channel after the Pista review, which seemed to go down pretty well. So yeah, we'll hopefully have an Italian stallion in the next review. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.